What if Deku had ancient genes? This is a big change to the My Hero Academia world because we're actually going to be giving Deku a quirk that would help him out. And I should say I love overpowered protagonists, especially since it challenges the writer to introduce peril without nerfing the character. Now I should explain what ancient genes are. Thousands of years before the first humans settled Japan lived an ancient race of sentient, super-powered beings. These beings were very peaceful and kind at first. They welcomed the humans with open arms, and they prospered together. However, things changed when they first discovered that breeding between peoples was possible for some. But the hybrids, while incredibly powerful, did not live as long as the predecessors, only 260 years or so. This was spectacular to humans, but the super beings, it was nothing. And it was seen that the humans, who had nothing to offer but weakness, only wanted their strength. They also brought fear that their culture would be forgotten one day if interbreeding kept up. Borders were being placed and the land was divided. It was decided to round up and execute all of the hybrids. Seeing this as a way to prevent a miserable life later down the line, the humans, however, did not see it this way, and a rebellion started to protect their children. By their side were also the sympathizers that wanted a peaceful existence. Seeing a war was coming, the super beings amassed their forces and prepared to drive the humans from the land. So, they were driven out by the governing forces. This sparked a war. The humans were weak, but they were many. In the end, only a few hybrids survived the onslaught. This was a great tragedy. The once kind super beings were now gone for defending themselves and their culture. The few that were left took mates in humans to procreate and make sure their newfound home was strong. Thousands of years have passed since then, and most humans have parts of the super being's genetic code in them laying dormant, waiting to be reactivated when the land regains its mysticality and spirituality once again. In Deku's time, quirks reigned supreme, but he was not born with a quirk, at least not one he knows about. The doctors tested him and said that he should have a quirk. It should be manifesting. Little did Deku know, his quirk was an awakening quirk, which meant that he had awoken an ancient being long slumbering inside of the human race. But since Deku was never trained, he wouldn't know. Deku does realize he doesn't get tired when he runs, and he's not sore the few times that he works out. But he never really puts this together, just waiting for something amazing to happen, waiting to be able to pull small objects or breathe fire. Deku didn't know he had a quirk mutation, which is quite rare in this universe. Usually a child gets one of their parents' quirk or a fusion of both. However, there are rare cases when someone gets a mutation that gives them a completely broken quirk, like Aries Rewind. So pretty much everything for Deku continues like normal. Deku catches All Might and asks if he could ever be a hero. All Might says no. Deku is really disheartened, but he still acts when he sees Bakugo in trouble. Something inside Deku breaks, and he runs. And this time, when he throws his book bag, there's so much emotion coming out of Deku that the book bag goes through the sludge villain, which doesn't look that impressive to the hero surrounding him. It's not a quirk, he can just toss pretty hard, one of the heroes says. But this leads All Might to power up and smash the villain away, changing the weather and telling Deku later that he can become a hero. And like that, training starts up. This is where we'll see changes once again. Deku within this week of training realizes he isn't sore or tired, and he notices that the incident with Bakugo, he can't sleep. It's not like he's having nightmares. He just goes to the beach and works straight through the nights, all day and all night, only going home to eat along with training with All Might. All Might would notice Deku's body is already ready for All for One. He's worried, but reluctantly, even though it's only been 2 weeks since they've started training, he decides to give Deku One for All. Now, let's talk power percentage. Deku can't use One for All immediately. He's not that powerful, and he isn't that effective in using it. However, he would be able to use more than in canon. I'm going to say 10% at the time of receiving it, if he knew full cowling, which he doesn't. So Deku won't be able to use One for All. However, Deku in seconds is on his knees, as his whole body begins to emanate a brilliant blue light. Freaking out, Deku starts screaming, and All Might tries to comfort Deku, but he passes out. Little does All Might know, as All for One is now interacting with Deku's awakening quirk, forcing his activated genes to take a more prominent form. All Might, not knowing what is going on, picks up Izuku and gets him to the hospital. Izuku's mom would be notified, and Izuku's body would start to change while he was in the hospital, in a coma. Izuku's genetic makeup, due to a concoction of his ancient DNA, All for One, his quirk, his human DNA, all interacting in a less than gentle way. The doctors try to view Izuku's DNA in a genetic sequencing machine, but it's constantly shifting. And figuring out what's going on, they have to talk to All Might and Izuku's mother. The doctors bring them into a room and ask the blunt question: what's been going on in the recent months with Izuku? So, what has Izuku's schedule looked like for the last couple of months? Just give me an idea of what's happened. Has he been eating something weird like radioactive waste? Has he been acting differently? The doctor trying to lighten the mood, but really just scaring people. Izuku's mom replies, he's been out of the house a lot, and he's been training for his UA entrance exam. All Might stoically says, yes, he's been training with me, replies All Might. Izuku's mom, shocked by this. She thought All Might had just picked him up and was worried for him. I know that much already. What I need to know is what's different. If you have any guess, anything at all, I need to know. His genetics are in disarray. At this point, he's crashed twice. Once more, and he could die. We need to know what we can do. All Might is scared. On one hand, if people know about One for All. By law, medical personnel have to report quirks to the Hero Safety Commission. So his quirk will get out there. On the other hand, Deku could have no future at all if he doesn't tell them. All Might stands up and decides he's going to tell them. And whatever happens, he will protect young Midoriya. So he has the DNA of 9 people swirling around in his body. This power may have further activated a quirk that amplifies his endurance and defies what we know as human capabilities. Okay, yeah, All Might, we're going to do some paperwork, but first, we have to move Izuku to the ICU. Try to get his genetics back into sync. The doctor runs off to order tests, prepare gene quirk therapy, and experimental therapy used to stabilize volatile and possibly life-threatening quirks. It was originally planned for the quirk singularity, when children wouldn't be able to control their quirks well enough and would have to go to quirk gene therapy to give them better control. Anyways, now that Izuku's mom is done chewing out All Might, we get a view inside Deku's mindscape.
The descendant of Asahi. You've grown strong, but your body is rejecting you. You must hold on, for those in your world are trying to save you. However, when you go back, you will have a new mission.
And that's gonna do it for this part. So, what did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Tell me how you felt in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you liked it. Comment if you have any suggestions you want to see. Thanks, guys.